evening, everyone. So we have in our studio today Mr. Sumeet Mehta. He is an expert in geopolitics and the Indian politics. So today we are going to discuss with him about the Hindenburg research. Hindenburg has accused Adani Group that Adani has manipulated stocks and they have done the money laundering and there has been an accounting fraud that they have been doing over the course of decades actually. So what is the fact actually and what is the motive behind this attack actually? So we are going to discuss with Mr. Sumit. So welcome Sumit, welcome to our studio.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha. Thank you very much.
So the very first question I would like to ask you, what is meant by the short seller report actually?
See, first thing is we have to understand what is short selling. Short selling is if in case I believe that the stock is overvalued. Overvalued means that the stock's price should ideally be say 100, but it is trading at more than 100.
Okay.
And I expect the stock price to fall. In that case, I will sell the stock level where I believe that okay, now it has bottomed out, it cannot fall further. Okay, that time I start buying the shares and then covering up the positions.
Okay.
Normally, what happens in stock market is I will buy, I'll keep the shares, and then I will sell and I'll give the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
In short selling, I don't have the shares, but I will sell it. So at a lower price, I have to buy it back. So that is short selling. Now there is short seller's report is a report made by a person who has done the short selling, who has sold the shares with a belief that the stock price is high and he expects the prices to go down and he has reasons to believe that the prices must go down, which he writes in his report, and that is called as a short seller's report.
So can you please explain this in a more simplistic manner so that the even a layman can understand by through an example or something?
If I have to give you a more practical example in the current situation, Hindenburg. Hindenburg believes that the stock price is overvalued, means the stock price should not be at these kind of levels, which it was at one point of time. Adani was at around Adani Enterprises was at around 3,800 levels. He believed that the stock should not be at this price, it should go down. And so he first sold the in the derivatives market. He sold the shares. He did not have physical shares at all. He did a selling first. He issued a report thereafter, and in the report itself, he had made a disclosure that he has a short position, means he has sold the shares, and he will buy it back at a lower price when the prices crash. And that is why the report is called as a short seller report. Normally, these reports, I've read a Hindenburg report. Hindenburg report is, I found it very funny because I've read many short sellers reports which talk about the fundamentals of the company, which talk about the valuations of the company, which talk about the financials of the company, which talk about the DCF valuations, all those things, and why they believe that the share price is high. Here, Hindenburg report does not talk about anything. See, I have myself been an equity research analyst. I started working in the stock market at the age of 16. Okay. And I have been an equity research analyst. I have written reports. Okay. I have written research reports which have been presented, and I made presentations to funds, FIIs and domestic funds, including LIC and mutual funds and everyone. So when I saw this particular report, I was kind of feeling that what is this? This is like a gossip magazine. When you start with say Mahua Moitra and people are instance, see, I can share a copy of the report that I have also written. We don't talk about all these stupid things. We talk about the fundamentals of the company. We talk about the business of the company. We talk about the sector in which they are operating, whether the sector will have a problem, whether we see. I'll give you one example. Long back in one of the companies, I don't want to name the company, but very eminent, very respected company. Okay. Which was into manufacturing of commercial vehicles. And there was a equity analyst. He took a tour across all the major transport and used to sit on dhabas. And after he came back to the office, it was he was working in one of the brokerages. He came out with the report that all the automobile commercial vehicle companies are going to face a problem. there is a impending slowdown in the business which is expected in some time. And you know why? That particular company used to manufacture trucks, and it was also manufacturing a commercial. And what they used to do is the company was selling the truck and was giving one SUV free. And this particular analyst said that this cannot continue because a truck driver used to buy a truck, used to get a SUV free, used to sell the SUV to a to a tourist vehicle operator. So his price used to come down, and that was how company was able to generate sales.
Okay.
And this is, I'm talking about late 90s. I'm talking about late 90s, more than 20 years from now. Okay. And he came out with a report that this was he was not a short seller, because he did not take any negative position. He came out with a sell report. There's a difference between sell report and short sellers report. Short shares, and now coming out with a report. A sell report, particular analyst gave all these reasons, and he said that the sales is going to go down. He made a valuation. He used DCFP and all those methodologies, and he said that this company must be sold at this level. And thereafter, it really of the millennium, and thereafter in 2000, it was at around less than 100 rupees. Okay, from more than quite a, it was, and now it is a very valuable company. So it can, coming out with a short sellers report is nothing wrong. Coming out with a sell report is nothing wrong. I have read that report because my boss was okay, and he showed me the report that this is how a seller's report has to be come out, has to be the business. It was focusing on all those things, whereas this particular Hindenburg report was only gossip, like that kitty party talks that happened. So okay, just giving a difference between two your viewers. Because that is the difference between Hindenburg report and uh, a normal seller's report.
Okay. So, how do you actually feel this is an attack on Indian economy? This is an attack on Adani, actually.
I don't see it as an attack on Adani. This is an attack on Indian economy. The intention is not Adani. Adani was, the report is timed one day before. So the intent was to sabotage the FPO of Adani.
Okay.
So I was coming to the point that this report was released one day before the FPO opened. The intention of this report was to sabotage the FPO so that Adani cannot raise money.
Okay.
And this was also to create aspersions in the minds of the investors, in the minds of the financiers, in the minds of the bankers, that Adani is a bad company, there is all wrong going on in the company, and so you should not give money to this. Also, the worst was with this hammering. See, we don't hold brief for Adani. Adani is an individual. People will come and go. Of course, employment creators getting destroyed is a very dangerous thing. We have seen that in Bengal, all the industries left because the employment creators were targeted. And we have seen the way entrepreneurship was destroyed in communist states, and in turn, Bengal became such a poor economy. So, when you start targeting Adani and all, okay, Adani will, Adani, see, he is a businessman. He has talent. He can go to some other country and make money, very much the way the Marwadi businessman in Calcutta went out. Aditya Birla was stripped and made to walk to his office. What happened? He quit Bengal. Even now, Mr. Birla, his son, Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, is not put up a single entity over there. But he is one of the most respected and a very and a multinational Indian conglomerate. They are operating in so many countries. They are operating in so many companies. They have acquired companies in Europe and America and all, North America for that matter. What does it show? A businessman will be successful other places also, but what will happen to the country where they are operating if this kind of targeted attack is happening? But beyond that, beyond employment is the loss that we have incurred. At the peak when Adani Group stocks were before the report, LIC's valuation of the Adani shares holdings that it had was 80,000 crores. From there, it came down to 50,000 crores. LIC had purchased the shares of Adani for 30,000 crore rupees. They were sitting on a profit of 50,000 crores. From there, they had to incur a loss of 30,000 crores. Who lost out that money? It was the policy holders and the shareholders of LIC who lost money, including Government of India, because Government of India is the majority shareholder in LIC. Who
Yeah.
benefited out of it? The people who sold at the upper price and made money at the lower price. But at whose cost? At the cost of taxpayer, at the cost of individual investor, at the cost of a policy holder. So Indian small investors and taxpayers lost money. Same happened in case of SBI. Same happened with all the mutual funds. There are more than 30 mutual funds who are holding shares of Adani. Now they are not stupid. Hindenburg is free to believe, and I support his argument that if he feels that a stock at 100 or 300 is costly, okay, you can say that it is costly and you can sell it, nothing wrong. But the way targeted attack happened, this, I'll have to go into background. This kind of targeted attack has not happened for the first time. In the past, similar targeted attack happened in George Soros did that to Bank of England. He shorted pound sterling and hammered pound sterling to the level that Bank of England was disturbed. Then he did the same to Bank of Malaysia and he hammered ringgit. And the whole Malaysian economy went into a spiral. So this kind of games we have seen in 1992 with pound sterling and 1997 with Malaysian ringgit. The same is done this. Especially I realized it on the day after the closure of the FPO, wherein they raised 20,000 crores, and the next day from around 2,800 it went down to 2,000 odd levels. 800 rupee drop in one single session. Immediately I realized this is a game. This is a game to hurt the country, hurt the interest. And thereafter, when you see the way politicians started talking that LIC, SBI, and all that. Now, LIC I can understand because during Congress rule, we have seen LIC and all the PSU banks were arm twisted so that money goes to favor people. Okay.
Yeah.
And thereafter, in banks, we saw NPA crisis. But then how did Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, how did Goldman Sachs, how did Morgan Stanley, and all those global investors also invest in Adani FPO at around 3,276 levels if it was overvalued? And thereafter, the biggest thing is after the controversy, International Holding Corporation decided to invest 3,600 crore rupees.
Okay.
If it was overvalued, then everybody should believe it is overvalued.
Right.
If I believe it is overvalued and you are coming out in the market and saying I am going to invest 3,600 crores, that means my opinion has some problem. My opinion can be wrong.
Yeah.
And that too when the controversy has come out. So that was a way to hammer the economy, create suspicion and aspersions in the minds of the people about public financial institutions so that people stop giving money. That can create more problems in the economy. And the losses for all these people together, the mutual funds, SBI and LIC together, I can peg it, and also retail investors and all. Adani lost around 8 to 10 lakh crores, but other 2 to 3 lakh crores who lost? It is the Indians who lost. What about that? We are not talking about that. See, these people who are enemies of the country, they are happy that Adani lost 8 to 10 lakh crore. They are not saying that individual investor, taxpayers, shareholders of SBI, President of India who owns shares of SBI and LIC, together they lost 2 to 3 lakh crore. Nobody is talking about that. 2 to 3 lakh crores is like equal to one big scam during the Congress rule. That is the kind of attack they made on Indian economy.
And I also learned from newspaper, actually, this Hindenburg is a very small company. There are hardly 10 employees in the company, actually.
See, employees is not a matter. It is all about the quality of research. And I read the research report. I don't think Hindenburg has done it alone. There are people sitting in India because the language of the report, the style of the report is something which is very familiar. I think the report is made in India, and there's a whole group, including Hindenburg and his sponsors and his handlers, who have played in the stock market.
So that's the case, actually. So this is a big game, and government, including the people of India, should be very careful, actually, before believing such kind of reports.
See, reports have to be believed, but who can verify it? Now, if someone writes a kitty party kind of report, and the people who don't know valuations, I was on one of the TV debates and someone was asking this, that, and I was laughing. I said, there is no point. They don't even know how valuations is done, how Excel sheets are prepared. So then all politicians came in and they started making statements instead of, allowing the professionals who know the process to talk about it. and the matter was more politicized to target certain political party, BJP to be very frank, and Modi, instead of talking about how the functioning happens, how valuations are done.
So, how do you think the Hindenburg or whoever is behind this such kind of attack have benefited from this?
They have benefited in two levels. First thing is they sold shares at the higher price, and when the price went down to 2,000 odd rupees, they
Okay.
have means they had bought puts, and they had bought out of the market put. Out of the market put, I'll not go into detail, but if I'm expecting normal range at 3,800, the trading range was anywhere from 3,300, 400 to 3,800. So when I'm doing any trading in the range of around 3,800, if I'm selling to 3,400, it is in the market put, but in the money put. When I do anything which is more aggressive, it is called as out of the money. And here they knew that they are going to bring down the stock, they are going to hammer the stock. They had so much of financial muscle, and so they started buying at a much lower levels. They made money out of it. It could be a couple of $1 billion that they would have earned, or maybe even more. Okay. And of course, beyond that is the political agenda. The political agenda is that they were expecting the markets to crash, and a more dangerous reaction. And see, it is not only Adani who lost money. There are so many other companies who also lost stock, whose share price also went down. So imagine it is not just an assault on Adani, it is an assault on all those mid-size and big companies who also lost money because of the hammering which happened in the market. And if in case this would have spiraled into something, they expected that even individuals will come, others will come and start hammering, which did not happen, but it could have happened. Then LIC, SBI, mutual funds, financial institutions, everybody would be on a tizzy. And what would have happened? The overall investors' confidence would have crashed. In turn, the business confidence would have crashed. That would have resulted in slowdown in the economy. And 1 year before the elections, if there is a slowdown, economic slowdown, what happens? So the intent was that.
Right. So they have succeeded.
No. No. See, Adani had to pull back the IPO. FPO, they returned the money.
Okay.
But I don't think they have succeeded. They succeeded in hammering Adani and stopping Adani from raising money. Adani will be in problem for a while because there will be a lot of scrutiny into their operations, this, that. Bankers have asked, SBI has asked for additional coverage. So they have given more shares of Adani group companies to SBI for the LTV, that is known as loan to value. Okay. So all that will happen, maybe 6 months to a year, Adani will take to recover from it. But they have not managed to hammer the economy the way they have intended to. But they have partially succeeded in stopping Adani. And that is a very big thing also for them.
So I have also learned that Adani has decided to just pursue this matter legally. Actually, they are looking.
Yeah, that was required.
Yeah.
They have hired a New York law firm to take up the matter because Hindenburg was saying that you sue me. And see, the biggest thing is Hindenburg report quotes the annual reports, or some registry data that there is a shell company and all that, which I found very stupid. Because all such large conglomerates have many such companies. Even the best of the company, tomorrow somebody takes a similar enthusiastic line against the companies who are funding, say, Wire and Scroll and all, then these kind of shell companies, what these people accuse Adani of, even these people will who are funding Wire and all those Wire, Scroll, Alt News and all, even they will have such companies. And then there will be so this is a normal practice, but these people have tried to make it into something which is very wrong. And that is something that has created a kind of aspersion in the mind of people who don't know corporate business operations. So okay, this will happen. And now when and see, best thing is Hindenburg has not given any evidence. They have just used the evidence from whatever Adani has disclosed or whatever is there in the public data. They don't have any individual information with themselves. So from that perspective, this report has no credibility.
Yeah. But have you done your research also? So have you found, did Adani has manipulated a stock?
See, stock manipulation is a kind of allegation which people do make. Whether he has manipulated or not is a perception. Okay, because it is not very easy to kind of get this data. He has accused Adani of manipulation of stock based on what? Very high price. But if the price was high, then why were even the international investors of the most markiest repute, like Goldman and Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, or Morgan Stanley, or International Holdings Corporation, which is a $300 billion conglomerate based out of UAE, why were they buying? I may be negative about the stock. That's okay. I may believe that stock is overpriced and I don't want to buy because I'll not make adequate profits. That is okay. I can even for that reasons I can accuse Adani. Adani is doing manipulation in the stock. Okay, probably I can make that accusations. Evidence you can never. He has not provided any evidence. He has just made accusations. If there are evidence, he should say that these are the brokers, these are the amount, this is the money flow. He has not given any of that information. So in that case, how can we believe that that allegation is true? And we believe, or Hindenburg believes, that stock price is high. If stock price is high because of manipulation, then people should, learned investors. See, me and you are individuals. We may have limited information, but people who are investing 5,000, 3,000, 2,000 crore rupees, they'll not be doing it just, my neighbor has said or my panwala has said. They do proper research.
Yes.
So whose investment has more credibility? A person who is investing to, 2,000, 3,000 crores or 1,000 crores, or a person who is saying that I sold the shares and so I believe that so now I'm saying that the company is overvalued because there's a manipulation. Rather, he is also involved in manipulating the stock price and pushing it down. Why can't we look at it from that angle?
Yeah. So another accusation that they have made, Adani has been overvaluing coal imports through cell company. So what is your opinion about this?
It is not easy to do this kind of things because overvaluation and all comes within. If it is shell companies also or anything, it is not so easy to do this kind of transactions because there are income tax regulations, there are custom duty related regulations. Okay, there is something known as transfer pricing. Transfer pricing is that when I am transacting with a company outside India, which is my associate company, whether I am doing it at fair market value or not. Okay, so there are a lot of layers of scrutiny by the regulators, by the government authorities, tax officials, to ensure that there is no such manipulation happening. So he has made all that allegations, but maybe he has only used the newspaper reports where there was an inquiry, and thereafter there is no evidence. Really, he has not provided any evidence in his report that this is the actual price and this is the price at which the import is done. He has not provided any evidence. He has just हवे में तुक्का मारा है उसने.
So that's great. So these are the what I say. These are the things about the since they have no evidence actually whatever accusation they have made. So we have enough reason to believe that. So their intention were malified actually.
True, their intention was to hurt the Indian economy.
Yeah. So even but I think this is something about the international politics also.
Definitely, yes.
Because
definitely.
If this could have been a domestic matter, then we can think the opposition party or other political parties are involved in this. But when some international body is doing this, then we have reason to believe that.
Yes, and if you see the strategic positioning, Adani had acquired Colombo port. Adani acquired power generation and transmission in Sri Lanka. Adani is supplying electricity to Bangladesh. Adani is acquired Haifa port.